Hello everybody! Hope everyone's having a good day. I am in terrible condition after the Red Woman fight, but we're off to Renna! I think. I reckon so, because that's what it said next. That's what they were talking about in the cutscene. So, let's find out what the fuck is going on. Back up here? Nope. I forgot how to check where we have to go, because it's been very clear where to go next. I'm presuming we have to head back because there was no ways of going forward, so... Oh well, let's see. And you. Ah. These open? Nope, that's just a wall. And again, just a wall. But I would like to do this. Thank you. That helps out a lot. Ah! We are going the right way. Finally, confirmation. I know, don't give a shit. Get out of the way.
I'm the true gunslinger around here.
You've got spirit.
Come on, you. Oh, please. No grenades for you. Ow.
The enemy wields arcs too.
You'll soon see about that.
Ow.
I'll finish you here and now.
Astral energy.
There we go. You're dead.
No, I'm not done. Freaking does it.
Oh, wall's gonna go berserk.
Dragon Swarm.
Burn, both of you.
You're mine. Dragon Swarm.
That'll bring you down. Here I go. One more.
You're mine.
Come on, we've got these guys.
Let me help. Not on my watch.
Dragon Swarm.
This ends now.
Consider yourself finished.
Here's a healing
My
orb.
turn.
Oh, this guy's dead.
Dragon Swarm off. Look sharp. Lightning target ready.
And there goes the last two.
A comfortable win.
Perfect. I think it helps that we use this area to train. Hello, big guy. Don't really care. Hey, doggos. We don't care for a fight. Bugger off. Here we go. Oh, yeah, if my voice doesn't ever come through, I'm not sure what it is, but it happens on everything. It's... Even when we're on the... Oh, wow. What's happened?
What the? When did it get pitch dark all of a sudden?
The lights are all out. Think it has something to do with the explosion back in the Forbidden Zone?
Probably.
Doe?
You two.
Oh.
Faria, Avakir. Thank goodness you're safe.
Avakir filled me in about everything.
Oh.
About how I ambushed you all.
She doesn't remember a thing, so she really was being controlled.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He told me about Tarnigan, too. Is it true?
What difference does it make? What's done is done.
Stop casting me off, just for once!
Faria, not now. It can wait. Dohalim, Lenegis is in grave peril.
So I can see.
The power's
It's
off.
the city's core reactor. It's damaged. Some of the basic systems we've managed to keep online, but complete restoration's still a way off.
You're an elite technician, though. You can fix it, right?
Nope.
If so, then what's the problem?
Panic's begun to set in among the citizens. Until now, whenever something like this happened, the Sovereign would issue a decree. But this time, not so much as a peep. Any longer, and we run the risk of riots breaking out before we can get things back up and running.
Forget the Sovereign. I doubt you'll be hearing from him anytime soon.
What's that supposed to mean? Do you know something I don't?
Yes, he knows a lot
Suffice it
that
to
you
say,
don't.
the Sovereign isn't the kind of ruler we thought he was. That is, if he ever even existed, which is looking doubtful at this stage.
Are you out of your mind? Why, if people knew that a lord such as yourself was whispering such blasphemy, they'd...
There's no time to explain now. It sounds like we need to find a way to keep Lenegis from spiraling out of control.
Yeah.
We need to stop that riot.
But how do we do that?
Riots feed on discontent and unrest, right? So if we want to keep the peace, we just need to put people's minds at ease.
True.
At ease. Like by letting them hear directly from someone they trust.
Dohalim.
That's it. Who's the highest-ranking person in Lenegis right now?
Dohalim is.
Lenegis wouldn't have a next in line. After all, you said the Sovereign rules over everyone directly, right?
Correct. The closest thing to an authority figure would be a lord. And the only one left is...
You.
Ah. Very well then.
He's finally got it.
Avakir, you mentioned a few facilities were still online. Which ones?
Perfect. Let's hope the address system is.
Why hasn't the Sovereign said anything?
Please, won't somebody explain what's going on?
Is it over? What's going to happen to all of us?
Dohalim.
Heed me now, fellow Rennans of Lenegis. It is I, Lord Dohalim Ilkaris of Eldaman and Sia.
Look, up there! It's Lord Dohalim!
Hold on! He should be in the crown contest! Shouldn't he? Why isn't the Sovereign talking to us?
Ooh.
The Sovereign is seeing to other matters right now. In my capacity as Lord, I speak to you in his stead. You're afraid, as people so often are when faced with the unknown. I hope you'll allow me to put your fears to rest.
Hope this works.
The city's core reactor has experienced a malfunction. However, we have our top engineers attending to the matter, and things will soon be back to normal. I know that you feel abandoned, perhaps more scared and alone than ever before.
I think the Rennans are just pets for whoever's controlling Renna.
You are Lenegis, not the Lords and Sovereign. The solidarity of its citizens is the mortar that holds it together. If we don't allow ourselves to be distracted by our differences, if we put our hearts and minds together and stand as one, I am confident we will find new hope.
I agree.
I would be honored to stand with you. Not as a person of loftier rank, but as another human being among many. I hope that you'll lend me your strength, for if we can persevere as one, I know a bright tomorrow awaits.
Yeah, here we go. Someone finally found the light switch.
Your speech seems to have done the trick. Looks like the city won't be descending into chaos after all.
Woo!
I only pray the relief will tide the city over for the time being.
What you said earlier, about the Sovereign possibly not even existing, was it true?
Essentially, yes.
It's still too premature to say with any certainty, but I believe so. This whole time, this world we've been fed was a lie, built on nothing but falsehoods.
But
Unfortunately.
it can't all have been...
I can believe it. After everything I saw in the Forbidden Zone, what they did to Faria, it's the only explanation that makes sense.
But what about hierarchy, Avakir? Authority? The very foundations of Rennan society? How can we live without someone to guide us?
I'd say we
Simple.
found someone capable of doing just that, wouldn't you?
I completely agree.
You? You can't be serious.
I have business I must take care of first. But once everything is over, I shall return. But not as your sovereign, nor as a leader the likes of which the people here are used to, I think.
Good.
But how else do you propose to rule?
The same
I'm
way
not sure
you did
yet.
in Menacea.
All I have is a feeling that here in Lenegis, a new dawn is on the verge of breaking. One in which people won't be judged by birthright, or on the power of their astral arts, but on other things. More important things. Things like, oh, I don't know, musical talent, for example.
When I bumped into you after all those years, I said you were no different. But I was wrong. Truth is, you were always different.
Yep.
I feel like
It's slightly
maybe
crazy.
now I can finally begin to accept Turnigan's death. To see a future.
Oh, at least she's finally come to terms and not trying to murder him.
You go finish whatever it is you've got to do. I'll hold down the fort here in Lenegis till you get back.
Thank you.
I don't think they'd listen to the Sovereign standing behind them.
I guess you're not going to make it to Menancia for the foreseeable future, huh?
Probably not.
Indeed. Forgive me.
The people of Menancia can look after themselves just fine. It's the ones here on Lenegis who need someone to guide them.
That is true. The people down in
Besides,
Menacea
with you leading the
are
people
self-governing
here,
right now.
it'll help spread the idea of coexistence beyond Menancia's borders that much faster.
Sounds like you're in it for the long haul.
How could I not be, after the second chance that I've been granted?
That's good then.
From this day forth, I shall dedicate myself to the future inhabitants of this world. Though the memories of the departed shall remain forever in my heart.
Remember, you're going to be leading the people here, not ruling them.
True enough. Whatever would I do without you, Kisara?
No.
With or without her, I suspect you're gonna have your hands full when the time comes. We should be heading back to the ship. Business on Renna awaits.
That it does. Oh. Rennan leader. Hey! Go Dohling.
Looks like the people of Lenegis can rest easy.
I couldn't have done it without your words of...
Where are we off to now? Back to the ship, I'm guessing? Probably.
encouragement, Lob.
Hey, you're the one who made the speech.
I think everybody can share the credit here.
I think it is Law and Dohalim who run this bit. You didn't really do much this time, Rimwell. I'm glad to see you're not being aggressive to the run-ins anymore, though. That's good to see. Hey, they're helping people. Great work, everyone. Here we go. Back up here. Oh, we can just go straight through. It is very, very beautiful. I will give them aesthetic. They're very good at building aesthetically pleasing buildings. Minus that Borg tech. Well, shit. And this place which is destroyed, so it's going to take a bit longer to repair. Oh, at least no one's down there dead. I guess it's off to Renna. To Renna! Where we will probably be ending the game. Alright.
I thought we'd find answers on Lenegis, but we just ended up finding more questions.
True.
You can say that again. And now we have more problems to fix too. Like figuring out how to reform Lenegis.
That can wait for now. We've got more than enough on our plates to deal with as it is. Like figuring out who's really running the show on Renna.
That is true.
Yeah. Which is why we're going to the Renan homeworld.
To defeat whoever's
all
in
the
charge.
answers we've been looking for are on that planet. The person responsible for all this. The Red Woman and the Alma. The answers have to be there. Are we prepared to finally find them?
Yes.
So, what do we do first when we get there?
We know nothing about the Renan homeworld or what we might face once we arrive. We should get a feel for how things are on the ground before we take any serious steps.
It's also entirely possible that the first thing we're going to face is an attack.
If we come across a capital, we should... What?
Oh, shite. So what are you gonna do now, lovely? Oh, they're surviving out in space. Oh! Did they just crush our ship or teleport our ship? I presume they teleported us. Shame the ship didn't have any weapons.
Damn. The hell just happened?
Our course has been altered. The coordinates are pointing to a different destination.
What's that?
We're about to
The
hit
ship's
something?
controls aren't accepting my commands. The engine is being shut down.
That's bad, right?
Very
Quite bad. We've lost control of the ship.
Is all of this the Red Women's doing?
Are they trying to finish us off before we can land?
It's possible.
Everyone, look there!
Oh, they're taking us to their leader. Okay. Wait, what? Renna doesn't really exist. It's a cracked planet. Oh shite. That's not good. So Renna's trying to absorb all the astral energy. Wonder what for? Interesting.
A flower blooming out of Renna?
But that flower looks like it's absorbing all of Dana's energy.
And it appears
The
Lenegis
thorns.
is serving as a conduit for that energy to reach here. Could that have been its true purpose all along?
Yep.
If that's true, do you think the people back on Lenegis are all right?
We can only pray that they are.
Damn it! Haven't they taken enough already? When is this going to end?
I think Rennans are
The Flower of
actually...
Oblivion.
Oh? You know what that is?
With everything that's happening, we need to get back to Lenegis. Is the ship still offline?
Unfortunately, yes. Even more so than when it lay dormant.
Can you fix it?
Starships are extremely complex machines. One wrong move while we're out here in space could very well cost us our lives.
So what? We're just stuck inside here, floating around? For how long?
Probably forever.
I don't believe this. We've made it all this way, and now we're stuck here?
For now.
We're watching Dana die before our eyes, and we have no choice but to sit here and starve to death?
Law, calm down! You're not the only one who's worried here.
Right. Sorry.
Good.
It's still too early to give up. There has to be a way to get out of this.
Alphen.
Oh.
Now what?
The starship, it's back online?
No, this is different. Something is pulling our ship in towards it.
I wonder what that is. Tractor beam towards Lenegis? No, that's not Lenegis. That's a different station. Interesting.
We managed to get moving, but where are we?
It looks like Lenegis in here.
Do you think we might run into more Rennans here? Or those red women?
Probably the red women.
Perhaps. Someone brought us here. The question is, who?
Well,
we haven't been ambushed, so that probably means they aren't hostile. Still,
it could be
why
some
would anyone
Rennans
want
who
to
have
bring us
more
here?
info.
Hey, Shion!
If they wanted to attack us, they could have done so while we were back on the starship. We should see where this path takes us.
I completely agree with Xion. Okay.
I still can't get over what we saw happening outside the starship.
Yeah, our planet's really not doing too hot right about now.
Nope, it is not.
I've only ever seen Renna from the surface of Dana, so I figured it was just another round planet like ours. Still though, I never would have imagined Renna actually looked like that. And what's the deal with that giant flower coming out of it?
Beats me. I have absolutely no clue. It's so surreal. It looks like a broken egg or something.
Renna and Dana.
It's a cracked planet.
We were taught that both worlds were spherical bodies that floated amongst the stars in the heavens. But to think that they lied to us not only about the Sovereign and the Crown contest, but also the form of our own planet.
Dohalim.
Okay, who's the wise guy that summoned us here?
Someone formidable enough to bring our starship along with us.
They must be here somewhere. Let's find them.
Anything around here? Nope. But Renna being a cracked planet. Okay, that's inaccessible. Central is not. Ah, perfect. Cryopods.
This place looks a lot like that room we saw back in the Forbidden Zone.
Huh? What's that?
Someone's in there. It's opening.
It's one of those!
A red woman in disguise. Or is this their true form?
So it was a trap?
No. I think this is the original Red Woman.
It doesn't look like it can move.
What does it say?
Tell me, are you the one who brought us here?
That is correct. It is unusual for me to have unexpected guests these days.
It can talk.
Please explain.
What are you?
Hevrect 35.
Oh?
Hevrect 35. Is that your name?
Correct.
What is this place? No, wait, before that, just what exactly are you? Are you somehow associated with the Red Women?
Before I answer, I have a question for you.
Go on.
How did you all arrive in this sector?
Red Woman teleported us here.
We did not come to this place by choice. Our ship was brought here against our will, by a group of red women who can shift into the same form as you.
In that case, we can assume my brethren who serve the Great Spirit have deemed you all to be a threat most grave.
What do you mean, serve? Are you saying there really is someone more powerful than the Red Women, pulling their strings?
Great Spirit. Oh! What's going on?
What did you do to us?
I examined your bodies. You have not been harmed in any way. Identifiers detected. The Sovereign and Maiden are among you. However, you aren't under its control. I see why they viewed you as a danger now.
Okay.
Oh, goody. More riddles.
Do you think we can trust this thing?
Like it or not, it may be our best chance at a ticket out of here.
It's the
Let's
only
at
thing
least hear it
talking
out.
to us. It might be able to explain to us who the Great fucking Spirit is.
I shall now answer your questions.
Thank you.
We are Helganquil. The Red Women you encountered previously are a form of disguise we employ from time to time, but not our true form.
Helganquil?
You are on Dake Phasal, a celestial base which drifted here by accident.
Okay.
The will of Renna's Great Spirit no longer reaches us here. Since my sudden separation from the Great Spirit's influence, I have used any and all means to extend my lifespan. As I have done so, I have also set out to monitor and research Renna and Dana from this position.
Okay. So you might be able to tell us.
What is this Great Spirit of which you speak? Is it something that rules over your kind?
Correct. The Great Astral Spirit is a large mass of astral energy that fills all of Renna, one with its own will. A voice we cannot refuse.
Okay.
A voice? Just like Dana.
The voice of the Great Spirit speaks to our hearts directly, and we have served it, without question, throughout the ages.
Does that mean it was controlling your minds? Wait a second. Could this great spirit be the true sovereign of Renna?
Yes.
The true ruler of Renna. It could be the same thing that's controlling Volron.
Most
Wait, back
likely.
up. You're telling us this great spirit of yours is the one that ordered you things to harvest the astral energy from Dana? I'm not sure I believe that.
Why not? We've already made contact with the will of Dana back in the Wedge, and in the Forbidden Zone on Lenegus. If Dana has a will of its own, I don't see why Renna wouldn't.
True.
Maybe not, but think about what you're saying. If Dana has a will like Renna, then that would mean that we've been controlled by the voice of Dana this whole time, just like these things.
Dana's will hasn't been forcing us to do anything.
Yeah, but...
Let's assume that what
He
Hevret
has a good
35
point.
claims is true, and that we are indeed cut off from both planets. Even if we had previously been under the control of Dana's will, we would have noticed now that we are disconnected.
True.
Your fear is not based in logic. The voice of Dana is much smaller and quieter compared to that of Renna's Great Spirit.
Okay.
Renna's astral energy is amassed at its center, whereas Dana's is shared among all its constituents. So thinly is that energy spread that it cannot coalesce and formulate a will. Our findings here indicate as much.
Which explains why we felt its will where we did. The Wedge and Lenegus are where so much of that energy had been accumulated.
The Great Spirit's desire is to consume all astral energy. And the pursuit of that desire is why you see Renna in its current state. As a result, it has turned its attention toward Dana.
Is that why the crown contest is necessary? So that the Great Spirit can feed off of Dana?
Pretty much.
Indeed. And it was to that end that we Helganquil devised the crown contest. Had the initial spirit channeling from 300 years ago succeeded, all of Dana's astral energy would have been seized.
Okay.
But the ceremony failed. Lenegus was severely damaged, and you lost both the Sovereign and the Renaissance.
Correct. A change in plan was required to ensure the spirit channeling's success. However, recreating the Rennis Alma required a vast amount of energy. That is why we turned to Dana.
So that was the real purpose behind the crown contest.
To
An
make...
efficient means to harvest the necessary energy from Dana.
Oh.
This is all happening because of me.
You
Nevertheless,
prolonged it.
you still haven't answered one of Alphen's original questions. Just why have you brought us here to your base, Hevret 35?
First, it was to confirm the identities of you, my unexpected visitors.
Okay.
Second, it was to ascertain whether you would be likely to accept my request.
What request would
A
that
request? But what could someone like you want us to...
I wish for you all to slay the Great Spirit.
be? Okay.
I'm sorry, did you just ask us to kill your master?
Pretty much.
I did. It is in your best interest that you do so, I might add.
What makes you say that?
Lenegus has entered the final stage of the spirit channeling plan. As we speak, Dana's energy is being harvested en masse and transmitted to Renna. If nothing is done about the Great Spirit, it will not be long before all is lost.
You're saying the destruction we saw earlier is just the beginning? That...
We
That
won't
makes
let that
sense.
happen.
Why do you want us to kill the Great Spirit so badly? Is it to save our world? To free you, Helganquil, from under its control? Why?
No. My primary concern is validating our findings and analysis, which have taken many years to realize. As such, it is my desire to see how your actions impact and change these systems. However, I will not deny that vengeance also plays a part.
Vengeance? For what?
In spite of our long service to the Great Spirit, our species is on the brink of extinction.
That makes sense.
You mean you're dying?
Yep.
At this stage, it would be wise for you to talk with the others. Ask them what you need to know. Once you have your answer, return to me. If you agree to help, I shall fix your ship.
Sounds
Others?
good.
Just how many of you are there?
I am the only Helganquil who inhabits Dake Faisal.
Hey! Hey!
It's no use. I think it's done talking to us. Let's take a look around.
Definitely. He might have other people on board this station.
You can't seriously be buying anything that creature told us, right? I mean, it's practically blackmailing us into doing its dirty work.
To be honest, the conversation went on for so long, I'm not sure I understood all of it. How about you, Dohalim? Were you able to follow it at all?
I was.
At the very least, everything it said about the Renan Great Spirit adds up. At the end of the day, this whole chain of events comes back to astral energy. That being said, had we not previously encountered the will of Dana, I suspect I would find its story much more difficult to believe.
But we
The
encountered the
spirit
will
of
of
Renna
Dana.
wants to see Dana completely destroyed.
But why? Astral energy is supposed to be a force that creates and shapes the world.
It doesn't matter. I don't care if we're up against an entire world or what its game is. We're not going to let it destroy Dana.
Right.
I understand it.
There is one other thing that concerns me. How the Great Spirit, the Helganquil, and the Crown Contest are all part of a centuries-long plan is clear enough. But what about the Renans? How do they factor into all this?
Disposable pawns.
Now that you mention it, and all that talk, Hevric 35 never even brought up the Renans once. And as for the Helganquil, we never did find out just what they are either.
Maybe it had a reason for keeping its silence. Or perhaps there's even more going on.
He wants us to talk
Maybe the
to
others
them and
will
find
shed
out.
more light on the matter. Let's find out.
Alrighty then. Upper level. Alright, what's up here, I wonder? Observation deck. He said we've got to talk to the others before he fixes his ship. Before he fixes our ship. So, let's try the lower deck. There we go. What have we found here? Oh, hello, Renans.
Who are they?
What is it?
Oh, my apologies. It's just been so long since I've seen any humans from the outside world.
Are you a Renan?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. The Overseer told us to answer any questions you might have. Whatever you want to know, we'll tell you as much as we can. But be quick. Our subjects are undergoing a dramatic shift that we don't want to miss.
Subjects?
What a weird guy.
He must have meant Hevric 35 when he mentioned that Overseer.
Yep, but what's his subject?
And what was that about subjects? You don't think he meant Dana and Renna, do you?
Could be.
There isn't anyone else we can talk to. I guess we should ask around here.
Definitely. You.
Have you guys lived up here in Dake Faisal with Hevric 35 for a long time?
Yes. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head just how long it's been, though. We regularly go into stasis, so our sense of time has gotten rather out of whack over the years.
Okay.
Why are you all even here in the first place?
Originally, this station was where we worked to perform maintenance on Lenegis from the outside.
We heard that the facility ended up in its current location due to an accident.
Oh, it was terrible. Apparently there was some kind of accident, and when help never arrived, they presumed the entire facility had been destroyed.
And you've been working for Hevrecht 35 ever since?
Well, at first we thought that there was nobody else inside the facility, but then it turned out the Overseer was there all along.
What do you mean?
The Helganquil have the technology to cloak themselves around us Renans. As long as they don't do anything obvious, a Renan won't see one, even if it's right in front of them.
Okay.
Which would explain why Shion and I failed to notice the Red Women previously. Do they employ an astral art of some sort?
I haven't been able to scientifically confirm it for myself, but from what I understand, the type of cloaking they use is primarily achieved through mechanical means. In addition, they also used hypnosis devices and information control to get us to do what they wanted without being detected.
That explains
It's
how
a pretty
they
sophisticated
control
operation,
what's it.
especially since it avoids any unnecessary conflict. I have to imagine that's how Lenegis is still run.
But aren't the Helganquil themselves controlled by the Great Spirit? If so, why aren't Renans affected by it in the same way?
The Great Spirit's mind control only works on Helganquil, so they had to employ other means to manipulate us Renans.
Ah.
You act like this didn't affect you personally. If I was you, I'd be mad as hell at their deceptions.
I mean, sure, I was surprised when I first found out about it, but it happened so long ago.
Hevrecht 35 has clearly ceased concealing itself, though. Why is that?
Who can say? My guess is it just got bored, or maybe even a little lonely.
True,
Don't you want to go back home
disconnected.
to Renna or Lenegis? Our ship is going to be fixed pretty soon. You could ride with us.
No way. If we went back after knowing the truth, they'd either just brainwash us or purge us outright. After all this time, there's nothing to be gained from going back. We've all agreed it'd be best to simply stay here and watch everything unfold instead. Things are going just fine with the Overseer. Not that it'll be around much longer. It can't extend its life any further.
No.
That said, I'm sure it's pleased to see the final stage of the plan before it passes on, though.
Thank you for answering our questions.
Okay, so let's go talk to this one.
Can we talk to you for a few minutes?
Sure. It's going to be a while before the two planets undergo their next shift, so I can talk until then.
Please, tell us what you know about the Helganquil.
You mean the Overseer's species? I can't say I know much about them.
Well, for starters, where'd they come from?
Where else? From Renna, obviously.
Okay.
From Renna? Wait, are you telling us those things live right alongside the Renans down there?
Of course not. There's really no such thing as Renans in the first place.
Oh?
Excuse me?
Oh, I thought the Overseer explained everything.
No.
Apparently not.
Please, tell us more.
Well, in a nutshell, the Renans were originally created from Danans by the Helganquil.
Well, that makes sense. Why they can only use dark energy. They were created by a species being controlled by the dark elemental Great Spirit.
But if that's true, then that would mean there aren't any people on Renna.
Yep. Well, it's a cracked
There
planet.
aren't,
You can't
but
expect
there
it to
are
hold
Helganquil.
atmosphere.
That's what the name literally means in their language. People of Renna.
But what need could they possibly have to create a whole new race of people?
It was a way to bolster their dwindling workforce. I trust you're aware that the Helganquil are on the verge of extinction, yes?
Yeah.
In essence, we were created to carry on their work for the Great Spirit after they all die. They gathered Danans who had an affinity for astral arts and proceeded from there. That's why we, as their descendants, can all cast arts, albeit to varying degrees.
Let me get this straight. Are you saying Renans were originally created from Danans that the Helganquil kidnapped?
Pretty much.
Wait, That explains why almost nobody can use Astro Arts on Dana now.
Yep.
Helganquil technology is truly amazing. The way they alter their bodies is far less invasive than your conventional surgeries. They have these tiny machines that are practically invisible, which they insert into their bodies and...
Enough! You needn't tell us anymore.
How can you speak so calmly about all of this?
They've had years to process this.
I guess I can see how, when viewed in a certain light, their ways may sound grotesque. But if you ask me, I think they ultimately did us a favor. They saved us from crawling the earth in ignorance. If it meant their hands had to get a little dirty in the process, then so be it. Anyway, the Helganquil are the real Rennans. Personally, I don't think it's such a big deal. They're also mostly the ones behind what you see going on between the two planets. I think that covers just about everything worth knowing.
I agree.
I see.
Thank you, mate.
Thanks for filling us in.
So Rennans are just the mages from Dana, kidnapped.
Does he really expect us to believe that Rennans never truly existed? How absurd.
No, I believe it.
Dohalim.
Just when I think we're getting to the bottom of it all,
It's a cracked
some
planet.
new
You
revelation
can't
smacks
expect
us in the face.
humans to live on it.
Then let's hope this is our last revelation for a while.
It's more like an asteroid than a planet now. Alright, dude. Please give me...
Do you know anything about a spirit channeling plan?
If you mean the first plan from 300 years ago, then yes. Do you know what its main objective was?
Yes. It was to use Lenegis to siphon off Dana's astral energy and send it to Renna.
Exactly. However, there were two problems we had to consider. First was how to collect and send such a large quantity of astral energy without it becoming sentient. Second, we had to figure out how to convert Dana's energy so it would be compatible with Renna.
Yes.
I take it the solutions to those problems were to use the wedge for the collection, and then the Sovereign and Maiden to convert the energy.
Pretty much.
We have a winner. However, the first plan failed when the Sovereign was overwhelmed and became frenzied.
Yep.
The reason for that is because the Maiden lost control. I'm told he slaughtered many Rennans in Helganquil that day.
Go often.
For the next plan, we tried to recreate the Rennis Alma, but we didn't have nearly enough of the other non-dark astral energy types. To amend that, we set our sights on Dana and implemented a system whereby we could extract energy from it.
Okay.
And the crown contest began.
Correct. Since the Maiden had been the failing point in the previous plan, it was decided to replace her role with machinery to avoid further mishaps. A new Sovereign had to be made as well. It was such tremendously difficult work, its success was dubious. But from the look of things, it would appear such worries were unfounded.
So that's what the purpose of that room we found in the Forbidden Zone was.
What about the flower that sprouted from Renna?
Flower? Oh, that thing. That's the physical manifestation of all the astral energy that's been harvested from Dana. As I'm sure you've noticed, it's quite a lot of energy. At this point, it's likely that it's become physically integrated with Renna's planetary structure.
Okay.
Hevrecht 35 mentioned that the spirit channeling plan is entering its final stage. Is that true?
It is. I never thought I would live to see the day with my own eyes, and yet here we are. Are we done talking now? If it's all the same to you, I'd really rather not miss anything that's about to happen.
Hey.
He talks like the potential end of the world is just another day on the job.
You've got to remember that these guys have been living alone up here for a long time. Who knows what shape their minds are in?
Their minds are a bit in a chaotic state.
Feels like our whole world has been turned upside down. Is there anything we know that's still true at this point?
Nope.
Seriously, I'm still trying to process the fact that we Rennans were created by the Helganquil, let alone the Sovereign and Maiden stuff.
Let's take a moment to gather ourselves. I know all of this is a lot to believe and take in, but I think it's fair to say that we've found the answers we've been looking for.
I agree.
Does everyone agree?
Yep, completely.
Agreed. Though I'll admit that I never expected it to all boil down to Renna's great spirit being behind everything.
Everything that's happened, everything we've endured, it's all because of astral energy.
And to get that energy, the Great Spirit took control of the Helganquil. Then the Helganquil created the Rennans, who went on to invade and rule over the Danans.
Yep.
Plus, the reason the Great Spirit can't directly control the Rennans as well is likely because they were originally Danans all along.
Pretty much.
Either way, I think it's fair to say we've all had a lot to take in at once. Maybe too much, even. We should probably take it easy and rest our minds a bit. Why don't we all take some time to think things over, before we decide on our next move?
That's a good idea, Kisara. If the Renan Great Spirit really is behind all this, then we've got a really big fight ahead of us. Because it's not just Dana on the line, but Renna too. If we're going to do this, we need to be completely sure of ourselves. So let's go ahead and break off for now. We aren't in any immediate danger, so we should be okay.
Sounds good to me.
You sure you don't want to be alone right now?
I could ask you the same question.
I figured I'd get all my thinking in while walking around and checking up on everybody.
I'll go along with you. I'm interested to hear what's on everyone's minds, too.
Aww.
Sounds good. Let's go find them.
Everyone's just gone their own way, huh?
Yeah, let's hit up each spot.
First off, we rest. And yeah.
That turned out good, if I do say so myself.
Perfect. Alright, thank you. Now let's go find everyone else. Ah, Kisara.
Oh, it's you two. Does he seem like he's doing any better now?
He who? Oh, you mean Dohalim, don't you?
I know that we're all struggling to wrap our minds around it all, but he looked like he was taking it really hard earlier.
Yeah,
and what do you think about everything we've learned? About the Rennans and the Great Spirit and all that?
On some level, I'm not even really sure what to think, to be honest. I mean, the Great Spirit is like a huge natural disaster, but with a mind and will of its own. But if that thing's hellbent on trying to destroy our planet, then the only thing left for us to do is stop it. As for the Rennans, I suppose my feelings on that are a bit more mixed.
How so?
Coexistence between Danans and Rennans in Menancia is still a work in progress. In my case, I think that's partly because deep down, I was still on guard around Rennans.
But they're not actually Rennans. They're Danans.
To be told that they're like us, that they're actually just like us is, well...
illuminating.
I guess it's a little deflating, to be honest.
Oh?
You kept a pretty level head.
You mean about the Rennans? At the end of the day, the Helganquil and the Great Spirit are the ones who are responsible. But at the same time, I realize that not every Danan is necessarily going to believe that either.
I know you're already aware of this, but the list of grievances the Danans have against the Rennans is long, and understandably so.
That it
and
is.
If people then find out that they're all actually one and the same, yeah, I don't think they're going to take to it too kindly.
Doesn't
Even
matter.
just among the Danans, I'm sure there'll be some who emerge with power and some who won't. I think if we can find a way to get rid of that imbalance, then we'll be in a truly good place.
Well, first we can try to figure out what to do about the existing conflicts we have.
Yeah. It'd be nice if one day people could learn to get past their hatred like Rinwell did.
It's no small task. We can't pretend like the past didn't happen and ask people to forget their very real pain and suffering.
No.
Right.
You have to ask
Everybody
them to
has
learn
their
from
reasons for feeling the way that they do. But if we just keep yelling at each other about it, we'll never move on.
I completely
In a worst
agree,
case scenario, it might lead to even more people getting killed.
And we all have to figure out how to meet halfway. Not just that, but to also embrace each other's pain in a sense.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
It's true. Everybody has their own scars, their own trauma. The
Yep.
first step to healing those wounds is to put aside that hatred. It won't be achieved through reasoning, but I think it's a good first step, if nothing else.
Definitely.
And now, I think I see a way to move forward. But to do that, first we need to make sure our planet isn't going to get wiped out.
No problem at all. I have a theory on this. Because there is an online theory about all the Tales of games being connected. And I'm just going to use this as an example. The Adaphagos from Tales of Vesperia. Spoilers if you haven't done it, which I do apologise for, if you haven't finished Tales of Vesperia. But the Adaphagos is essentially air, which is Vesperia's version of astral energy. It's energy released from the planet. The Adaphagos is a collection of air that just wants to consume everything. And then we've got the Dark Great Spirit absorbing all of Renna's astral energy and all of Dana's astral energy. It sounds very similar, and the only way to prevent the Adaphagos from reappearing when they dealt with it in Vesperia is to convert certain beings into beings of sentient energy, spirits, kind of like the Ifrit we fought in pretty much like Ifrit that we fought in Arise. The Ifrit in Vesperia controls all of the natural fire energy to prevent a reawakening of the Adaphagos. The spirits control all the energy to avoid that happening. With that, I believe this is a similar situation. The dark element has got its own mind and is trying to consume everything. Hence, what's happening right now. But they're going about it a different way. They're just killing off the spirit. So the dark element could be the Adaphagos in Vesperia. Because it isn't an outside threat. It could be. No idea though.
You both seem awfully calm.
Only because after everything we've seen, we don't have the energy to keep being shocked.
How are you holding up, Rinwell? That whole talk about the Rennans looked like it shook you up a bit.
Yeah. I get this sinking feeling whenever I remember how Danon mages like my family were persecuted and died out. And now, I finally know why that is.
They were
But I was
kidnapped.
thinking, if Rennans end up living together with Danons again, then mages won't be such an unusual thing to see on Dana anymore, right?
True.
I know it's not as simple as all that, but Danons probably won't be so quick to let their guards down. And there might be Rennans who still act superior because of their arts.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Not in the
300
slightest.
years of bad blood and prejudice isn't going to be an easy thing to overcome.
Nope.
Yeah.
Look
I
at the
know
Brits and the
firsthand
French.
just how much hatred can take hold in your heart once you let it in. But even so, I was still able to change. And if I can change, so can anyone else. So I was thinking maybe, I don't know, I could use my position as both a Danon and a mage to help bring both sides together.
Renwa.
Very good plan there,
That great
Rimwell.
spirit worries me too, though. Dana's will feels so warm and inviting. So why is Renna's will trying to destroy our entire planet?
Because
Now
it
that you
just
mention
wants
it,
to consume.
Everett 35 and the other scientists here never really brought that up. Maybe they don't know either.
Maybe. But regardless, at the end of the day, Dana's still our home. There's no way we can let it be destroyed.
True.
We won't. We'll keep it safe no matter what.
Alright, that's 2 of the team. Oh wait. 2 more are still down here. Whoa. And Dohalim. Okay, so the entire team's down here. Interesting.
I still can't believe it, man.
You're not the only one still trying to make sense of all this. Believe me.
Really? You've never struck me as the type of guy to get hung up on these sorts of things.
Did you forget what happened back in Thistleum? Once my memories started coming back to me, I felt completely and totally lost.
That you
It was really that bad for you?
Yeah, it was. But thanks to Law and everybody else, I remembered that I still had things out there worth fighting for.
Man, I think you might be a better guy than me, Alphen.
Why?
All I can remember thinking was, when's this guy gonna get his act together?
Law.
I was too worried about repeating the same mistakes I'd made back with my dad, and running away from the truth. That was no way to live. And
Not
I've
at
tried to
all.
stay strong, my way. But all this talk about other races and the world ending, if I can be honest with you guys, it's just all too much for me to handle right now.
I know this is going to sound strange coming from me, but maybe the key is not to worry too much about the big stuff right now.
True.
Oh?
I used to worry all the time about my thorns, for obvious reasons, but I never really opened up to anyone about them. And when I realized my visions pointed to a threat that was bigger than me, I didn't know what I should do or who to tell. But that's when I finally got it. You guys were all there for me, to
That they
teach me
were.
what's really important. I just had to open up and listen.
In other words, if you let the big picture stuff get you all muddled up inside, you'll begin to lose sight of what you really care about. Yeah, I think you're right.
The thing that's most important, what I really care about. All I want to do is protect the people that really matter to me, to fight for them. That's good enough, right?
Not everyone is strong enough to fight.
Huh?
It's something your dad told me once when he
Pardon
was
the
still alive.
interruption.
Oh, thank you
Law,
for the follow
you know
fly
you're strong enough
shelter.
to fight, and you're strong enough to protect the people you care about.
Thank you so
Forget all the
much.
big stuff going on. Just don't lose sight
Bobo.
of what you want to protect in the first place.
How are you?
Sound good?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it does. It's like a big weight's been lifted off my shoulders. I'll
That's
fight to
good job,
protect the
Law.
people around me. Just like I always have. I think that's best.
Just keep on doing what you're doing. That's all that matters. You're 14. Okay. Hello there, Dohalim.
I apologize for making you witness that.
You mean hearing the origins of the Rennans?
Indeed. It's shocking to have so many things I thought to be indelible fade away in mere seconds.
So how's your day
Even
going,
I'm
Fly
still not
Shelter?
sure everything we've heard here is actually true.
Let's not delude ourselves. If what
Oh,
we've heard
my hair
is
is
a
so
lie,
cool. Oh,
it's
thank
a
you so
rather
much.
elaborate one. I can only imagine that you must have been constantly feeling like this, ever since your memory returned.
I'm only
Athen.
using a PNG at the
You as
moment
well,
because
Sheila.
my
your
system
thorns
can't run
and
a
being
full
a maiden.
That's just part of being alive,
VTuber
don't you
model
think?
at the moment.
Well, to say the least.
Doesn't have the processing
But enough
power.
about me. I'm not concerned for myself. What concerns me is all of the other Rennans out there.
When you say the other Rennans, you mean the ones that are living on Lenegis or Dana, right?
Yes, he does.
Correct. Even if we stop the Great Spirit from annihilating Dana, our problems will still remain.
That it
Putting
will.
aside the untold state that Renna may be in, if we do not truly belong there, we will have to think long and hard about where it is that we wish to return to.
So how's your day so far, Fly Shelter?
So, I guess your only real choices at this point are to either stay on Lenegis or come down to Dana, huh? And right now, Lenegis might not even be a safe option.
No, you're gonna have to come
And
down
at
to
the same
Dana.
time, Danans are hardly likely to embrace Renans with open arms. If the issue is forced, things could turn dire.
Could do.
There is, after all, 3 centuries
you're
worth
eating
of
a
hatred
banana.
to overcome between
Nice.
us. And the victims of our rule have absolutely every right to feel animosity towards us Renans. Our own circumstances as the aggressors are irrelevant.
I didn't
True.
expect the former Lord of Menancia to be so down about people reconciling.
Ooh, very nice.
Menancia's fate was a stroke of good luck. There
They're
had
also
been
a good
backlash
source
over how
of
it had been
potassium,
ruled,
I think.
and I was blessed to
Yeah,
have
it is
sympathizers
potassium.
among my ranks. Still, even now, there remain ardent dissidents.
But things can still change if you have the right people to help lead the way. Isn't that what you hope to achieve on Lenegis, after this is all over?
That it is.
Indeed. I have fully accepted the burden of that responsibility. In that regard, I remain determined. On that note,
Good job, Dohoi.
I have something of a favor to ask of you, Alphen.
No.
Oh? What is it?
I wish for you to serve as a mediator so that the Renans can live on Dana peaceably. As the one and only blazing sword, I suspect the Danans may listen to what you have to say when problems arise.
And I
I
take
think
it that
that's
you'll be the
completely
one to
agreeable,
represent the
Dohoi.
Renans?
Yes. I realize that I'm asking quite a lot of you. However, the fact of the matter is that it will take time for Renans to re-enter Danan society without any bloodshed. That is why.
You're the same as ever, Dohalim.
Don't worry.
Is it too much?
Nope, not
No,
at all.
Relax. You get so tense and formal when you're asking for a favor. Listen, there's no need for that. We're friends.
No.
You're too kind. I can see you were raised well.
That's some high praise,
Well,
Alphen.
Alphen is over
And I'll ask
300
once
years
again,
old at this
this
point,
time
so...
just as friends. Alphen, will you help me?
You don't even need to ask. Of course I will.
Thank you, my friend.
Alright.
Well, it sounds
Looks
like
like we have to
everyone's
go
learning
back
from their
to
past and using it to create a better
34.
future for everyone.
What about you, Shion? How do you feel about the origin of the Renans?
To be honest, I'm not really all that shocked, actually. I mean, I might be a Renan in the literal sense, but I've never really felt like one of them.
Yeah,
Right
but-
now, it's kind of a mystery.
How do you mean?
Because for a really, really long time, all I ever thought about was how I was going to die. Not if or when, but how. I thought I'd die alone. That fate had me in its steely grip. I would have never imagined that I'd be traveling
Have you
with
played
someone
any
like
of the
you,
Tales of games
fighting
before?
to save Renna and Dana.
Nope, he's
I
gone.
mean, how could
Shelter.
I have? It's been going on for 300 years. All this tragedy and destruction. When you consider the Helganquil's part in all this, it's been even longer than that. It was
True.
Naori's hope that somehow, someone in the future would be able to stop it before it was too late. How it fell on us, of all people, to heed that call is a mystery.
Oh, well.
I don't think Naori was hoping that we would just stop the world from getting destroyed. She considered me, a Danan, as a real person. And she very much cherished her own people, too.
True.
I don't think she wanted the world to be saved just so they could go back to hurting each other. Oh, maybe this is what she meant.
Oh?
Huh?
When we were talking to Kisara earlier, about all that stuff like everyone's needing to meet halfway and embrace each other's pain and suffering. She said that the first step down that path was for each of us to put aside our own hatred. That means forgiving other people, even and especially before they forgive you.
Forgiving. So it goes both ways, right?
Yes,
Is that what you're saying?
pretty much.
Yeah, I don't just mean forgiving things that happened in the past either. Conflicts will keep happening. If we have any hope of moving on and building a better future, We have to all learn to forgive each other.
You know, you're right. People can hurt one another without even meaning to. I know that better than most, thanks to these thorns.
It's not going to be easy getting past this pain. But
Nope.
if we can do it, I'm sure there'll come a time when we can all truly understand each other. I'm there with you, Shion. I too want to protect the world we live in, and all the people we care about. I think that's the very least I can do to repay Naori for everything that she did.
Yeah.
Aw.
I want a future that she would feel proud to live in, and I'm going to fight for it.
Whoa there, Savior Girl. We're here to save you too, you know.
Yes,
That
I
we
know.
are.
Don't worry, I haven't forgotten. I want to live, and that's the honest truth.
Oh. Oh, here we go.
Is everybody ready to do what needs to be done?
Pretty much.
I am. There's a lot to think about, but at the end of the day, Dana's still in danger. I don't care who we're up against. We'll kick their ass.
What are your thoughts, Alphen? I want to know what's on your mind, too.
Like Law said, if we have to fight the Great Spirit on Renna, then so be it.
We shall
It's trying
destroy
to rob
them.
us of our entire world. And it's going to take not just our home, but all of existence along with it. That alone is enough to make it our enemy. But it's not only that. One way or another, I think beating the Great Spirit is going to be tied to us saving Shion.
You're saying there's a chance?
Yep.
You're referring to the vision of destruction we all saw in Lenegis, I take it?
Yeah. 3 centuries ago, the astral energy that appeared at the spirit channeling ceremony showed Naori that vision. And to hear Shion tell it, it's the same one that she sees from her own thorns as well.
Indeed. Shion's thorns are comprised of dark astral energy, the one type which we know is native only to Renna. And if Renna's great spirit is what's behind Dana's pending destruction, then...
We need to kill it.
Shion's thorns are the Great Spirit? It's not actually on Renna like we thought?
We don't know anything for certain. At the very least, though, I think it's possible her thorns are a part of the Great Spirit.
I agree.
While the main body resides in Renna.
Shion.
If these thorns really are a part of Renna's Great Spirit, I'm going to go over there and give it a piece of my mind and then some.
Good.
The question is, how do we confront it?
That is the question.
Suffice it to say, that flower growing out of Renna is enormous, large enough to house the will of an entire planet. The Wedge and Lenegis were both hard enough for us to overcome in their own right. This is an altogether greater challenge for merely 6.
Ah, we can do it.
And we only know about the Thorns connection thanks to Naori.
Hevric 35 has been observing the Great Astral Spirit this whole time.
It should be able to tell us
It
more.
wouldn't ask us to fight it unless it has a plan of some sort. Let's go see what that is.
Alright.
Our minds are made up. Let's go give Hevric 35 our answer.
That we will. Next time. Thank you so much everyone for joining. I hope you've all had a great time. And tomorrow, we will be hunting down this great spirit, and we will hopefully be killing it. Hopefully. Until then, hope everyone has a great day. See you guys later.